Hello everyone, Sabrina here from Scrappy Tales Crafts. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be creating 7 cards using this new Easter and St. Patrick's Day bundle that coordinates with our A7 pop-up pumpkin die. And I'm going to start off with the lamb add-on, and I'm going to be creating a black sheep and a white sheep here. And you can see I have all of my die cuts already ready to go. I am now paper piecing them. And what I like to do is, if I have a bundle with a lot of add-ons, I like to just spend one whole day die cutting, and for each card I put all the pieces into a Ziploc bag, and then I will spend the next day filming all of them in one go. This just helps me stay organized, and it also helps me edit the video when everything is just prepped and ready and all I have to do is assemble the cards. Now, I did that with the Easter add-ons, and then in a recent live, I worked with the 2 St. Patrick's Day add-ons, and I took footage from that live and added it to this video because it's a part of that bundle. So, obviously, because there's 7 cards in this video, I have sped it up quite a bit, and I'm only going to show you the assembly of 2 of the 7 pop-ups. The rest I'm just going to show you me decorating the already assembled pop-up. I have several videos on this die set, so I will have them all linked in the video description if you want to see a more slowed down version of how to assemble this. But I figured, since I have quite a few videos at this point featuring the A7 pop-up pumpkin, I just wanted to do, a video that features all of the add-ons in one video as opposed to separating them into 2 parts. And I also, like I said, have a video showcasing the 2 St. Patrick's Day cards in this one, where I am assembling those in real time. So if you want to see that live replay, I will have that linked as well. And as you can see here, I am just paper piecing. So this is for the black sheep. I am working on his eyes now. There is a tiny black dot in the die set, but I thought it'd just be easier to use a fine liner to draw in the pupil. I'm working on the butterflies also included in the lamb set. I use these butterflies on a lot of the product showcase cards that I featured. And for the lamb and the chick add-on, there are 2 different looks you can get with the same die. So I gave you different face options, and that's why I'm going to be creating 2 lambs and 2 chicks. And for all of my cards, I am referencing the packaging, and you'll see that a little bit later on in the video. I will show you the image that's on the packaging, and I just replicated the colors and the exact picture because I provide those images for you as inspiration, and I don't mind if you copy them. They are also provided so that you know what every piece of the die actually creates. So like the little ears, you might not know that they're ears unless you can see the final image. So I just set all of the white sheep pieces aside. I have them all ready to go, and I'm going to work on the black sheep first. I cut 2 base pieces from the A7 pop-up pumpkin die, and now I'm taking my scissors and following those 2 cut lines. On each of the 4 corners, I'm following the line that's on the top piece and the line that's on the square in the center, and I'm meeting them up to the very corner. It's just a tiny little triangle you'll end up with, and you will see where those 2 cut lines meet. So it's very easy to do this, and I'm just doing it to both base pieces on all 4 sides. And then I will go ahead and reinforce all of the score lines. And I like to do this beforehand because it trains the pieces to fold the way that I want them to fold later on. And this card I'm going to have fold flat for mailing. So those triangles that are on the top and bottom of the center squares, I am going to glue those down on the back side of the base. So you can see I flipped my base over, and now I am using a combination of liquid glue and Scotch tape to fold those triangles completely down. And you don't have to tape them down. You can actually just leave them loose and just have them folded. And actually that will give you a more closed off look. So it's really personal preference. I like to fold them down because they won't get in the way when the card is flat. You won't see them at all. But if you opt to not tape them down, when the card is fully popped up, you won't see as much of a slit on the corners. And it's really up to you on what you like. I'm going to show my bunny card. Actually, I did not tape down these triangles. And my mom actually prefers not to tape them down. So it's really personal preference. Both of them pretty much end up looking the same, but I thought I would throw that out there because it is an extra step that you don't necessarily have to do. So now I'm taking some gray panels that I cut from the Layering Pumpkin Panel die set, and I'm going to glue those onto my base pieces. This is just going to lighten it up a little bit. I am going to end up having a black sheep, but I knew that my layering pieces were going to be completely black, so I felt like layering black on black would maybe make those layering pieces not stand out as much. So I'm adding the gray, and I like how this ends up looking. I like the layering panel die because you can add more color to your character faces like I'm doing here, but you can also die cut these from pattern paper if you are creating a lantern design. So if you are watching this video and have never seen my videos before, this particular pop-up die can create a lot of different looks. Today I'm going to be creating characters and foldable cards as well as little gift boxes. But you can also create light up home decor lanterns with this die. I think this is one of the best dies that we've brought out because of all the different uses you can get out of it. And that's why I have so many video tutorials using this die. So if you want to see how to make the lanterns, I will also have those listed in the description. So you can see I added double-sided tape to all of the glue tabs, and I only did it on one base piece, and on the second base piece I just added tape to the larger glue tabs on the sides here. This is just going to make sure it's extra secure. I do suggest using double-sided tape just because it's an instant adhesion, and you can quickly create these pop-ups without having to worry about glue drying. With that being said, I am going to add glue as well, just a small amount, so that when I go to tape these pieces together, I can wiggle it around until I am happy with the placement. This glue or this double-sided tape that I'm using is very strong, so the glue just helps me shift it around. As you can see here, I'm like moving it back and forth so that those slits line up together on the inside. So you can see I just folded those glue tabs inwards and glued them back to back, lining up the slit and the dot that are incorporated into the die. Then through that slit you can add a rubber band. And these rubber bands I sell in the shop. They perfectly coordinate with this pop-up and give you the perfect spring right out of the envelope. I've tested a lot of different rubber bands, and if you have rubber bands yourself, I encourage you to try them out. This one just was the perfect fit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close off the other end. Again, folding those glue tabs inwards, back to back, lining up the slit and the dot that's created on the die. And then I'll just, press it down for a couple seconds, make sure that's nicely adhered, and then I will pull that rubber band to the other side and string it through that slit. Then I can go ahead and fold this flat, make sure that's nicely adhered, and then I'm going to go and close the top and bottom. So I'm doing the exact same thing. I am lining up those glue tabs inwards back to back. And I am kind of moving that piece on the inside back and forth. That's going to ensure that it's nicely stuck down. And I'll do the same thing on the bottom tabs. So like I said, I'm only going to show you this process once because I created the bases the exact same way for the other cards. Now, there are 2 cards that I converted this into a gift box that does not fold flat. So I will show you how I made those. But generally, if you want your cards to fold flat and you want to add the rubber band inside, this is how you do it. So there's my completed base, and now we can decorate the front of it. So I have my layering pieces. I cut the top cloud part, which is kind of like the sheep's wool, from black. And I'm going to add the flower crown to that. And again, this flower cluster comes in the bunny add-on. I'm going to add his, I guess, neck wool. And also his ears I'm going to add under the cloud piece. There are little tabs where you can add your glue and fold it so that they're facing outwards. And then I'll go ahead and glue his cute little face. And I was talking earlier about me starting lives. And if you would like to see the live schedule, I encourage you guys to join our Facebook fan group. I will have it linked down below. Right now we have about 500 members, and over there we do challenges, giveaways. There's tons of inspiration, not only by the Scrappy Tales design team, but also people who just craft with Scrappy Tales products. So it's just a great place to share your own projects and meet Scrappy Tales crafters. It's a fun, safe community, and I'm very excited to see it grow. So I encourage you guys to check it out and join. I'm going to add some gems to the center of each of the flowers. I also added a few tiny purple flowers, and I added a bell to the sheep, which is included in the lamb add-on. And then I'll just add a large pink gem to the center of the pink flower. And that finishes off my first sheep. And here it is folded flat. This will fit inside an A7 envelope, and then it just pops with that rubber band. It's really fun. So now I'm going to work on the white sheep, and that one is going to showcase the other face that's included in the die set. I went ahead and created my base from white cardstock. I did not add any layering panels to this one, but I am going to add 2 bridges inside, and these bridges are included in the A7 pop-up pumpkin. There are 3 score lines with a score line right in the center that creates this little triangle piece. And then on the 2 1/2-inch glue tabs, I'm adding double-sided tape. I'm going to add my first bridge to the right side of my base, and I add the glue tabs on the top and bottom of that center tab that's inside the base. You can see that it's jutting out inside there, and I'm just going to line up those glue tabs on either side, trying to center the point of the bridge with the tab that's on the inside. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's still going to fold flat. And then my other bridge I'm going to add to the left side the exact same way. And I wanted these bridges inside so I can glue my Happy Easter banner in the center of the pop-up as opposed to the very front like I did with my first lamb. This is just going to add some more dimension, and because that banner is so large, I thought it would look better further back. So you can see I'm lining up those 2 glue tabs on the top and bottom of that center tab. And this card is still going to fold flat and pop up with that rubber band. So here I have my Happy Easter banner. I fully paper pieced it. If you want to see how I paper pieced it, I encourage you guys to check out my last video with the Easter kids that are inside the A7 pop-up trellis die. I used this banner on one of the 2 cards I made for that video. But again, I followed the colors that were on the back of the packaging to paper piece this banner. Now I'm adding clear acrylic sticks. You can use packaging here. I'm adding 1 stick to the left side and 1 to the right. And I'm going to add double-sided tape and glue to the bottom part of those sticks and attach them to the bridges that we just added inside. And then you can see that banner perfectly fits and cascades over the pop-up pumpkin. Now I'm going to assemble the face. I glued my cloud piece to the top, and behind that I'm going to add the ears. I cut most of my layering pieces from gray so that they stand out from the white base piece. And then I'll go ahead and glue the lamb's face. Again, I paper pieced all of these off camera. I have several videos where I work on different character faces. I do triple layer the face pieces so that they stand out more. You definitely don't have to do that, but I personally like the look of it. I also bring my cards to trade shows, so I try to make them as heavy as possible because they do travel a lot and they get handled a lot. Going to add 2 butterflies to the top of the cloud piece, and then I will add the bottom cloud. And I don't think I add a bell to this one. I felt like the banner was enough and I didn't want to overdo it. So that completes the second sheep, and again it pops up. Those bridges do fold flat inside. And now we're going to work on the chick add-on. And again, you can get 2 different looks with the chicks. There's some different accessory pieces. So I wanted to create 2 versions. And I didn't have heavyweight yellow cardstock, so I cut the base from a heavyweight white, and then I cut the base again from yellow. And I didn't want to have this be layering pieces. I want this to fully cover the base. So that's why I die cut the base from white and yellow, and I just cut apart the yellow pieces to layer on top of the white base. I do suggest with any pop-up that we have to cut the base from heavyweight cardstock. It's just going to fold better and last longer. And with this base piece, I want to close it. I want this to have candy inside. So instead of folding back and gluing those triangles, I am going to add double-sided tape to them and attach each triangle to the piece that's right above it. So here I'm removing the backer tape. I'll also, I think, add a little bit of glue and then join those 2 pieces together. And if you reinforce your score lines, that will be very easy to do. And I'm going to do that to all 4 sides. This is going to make it so that this card will not fold flat. It's going to make it into a gift box. And if you want to create the lantern, you can cut out windows from the base and add a tea light inside and have it glow. In this case, I thought it would be really cute to give this chick a Kinder egg inside, because there is one style of chick that holds Easter eggs. And then to attach the 2 pieces together, you do the exact same thing. You're going to first attach those center tabs, line up the slits and those little dots. So I like to first close it off with those 2 center glue tabs. I'm not working with the top and bottom tabs yet, but you can see I just line them up, folding those tabs inwards and closing it off. And then inside I am moving that tab back and forth just to make sure it's nicely adhered. And then I will go in and attach the top and bottom tabs. Now, because this is closed, it is a little bit tighter, so it's a little bit more difficult to add the glue in, but I do still like to add the glue just to make sure everything lines up nicely. And I forgot to mention, some people have asked for my first design where I folded back those triangles and taped them to the backside. Some people ask if you can just cut them off, and you can, but I find that the slit when the card is popped up is much more noticeable. So I personally like to fold them back and tape them down, but I know, for instance, my mom doesn't tape them down at all. She just leaves them loose, and the slit is hardly like noticeable at all when you do that. But when the card folds flat, you do see those triangles pop up. I personally don't like to see them, so I opt to tape them down instead. It's totally up to you. I encourage you to create 2 bases and see what you like better. But because I'm making this into a gift box, I'm going to close the bottom so that I can add candy inside. The die, pop-up pumpkin die, includes this hexagon piece with glue tabs on each side. I am adding double-sided tape to each of the tab, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the backer tape on all 6 glue tabs. I have tried this multiple different ways. I've tried to do 1 tab at a time, but as you glue these tabs to the walls of the base, it gets tighter and tighter and more difficult to remove the backer tape. So I just like to remove the backer on all the sides, also add some glue, and then I pretty much just shove this into the bottom of my base piece. And once all of the sides are in, then I go one at a time and attach each glue tab to the walls of the base. So you can see I'm sticking my finger in there to press all of those tabs to the inner walls, and that will close off the bottom. And because, again, I didn't have heavyweight yellow cardstock, I'm just gonna glue a yellow hexagon right on top. And you would never know that I did not cut this base from a yellow heavyweight cardstock. I guess unless you look at the inside, but this will have candy inside, so. So now I'm going to decorate the character, and because this is a chick, he's going to have wings. And personally, if I had to pick a favorite Easter add-on, I think it's the little chicks. And I'm posting this video on a Thursday, and I just wanted to remind all of my Florida followers that I will be at Stamp Fest this year. And if you don't know what Stamp Fest is, it's a show in Clearwater, Florida, where a bunch of scrapbook and stamp companies come to sell products. It's like one big place to shop. There's tons of amazing companies coming. And so we will have a booth, and I'm also a part of the Make and Take on Friday night. So I hope to see you guys there. I am also going to be attending the Orlando Expo in April and also the Virginia Expo in April. And at both of those shows, I'm going to be teaching pop-up card classes. I know some people really have to work with my die sets to feel comfortable purchasing them because pop-up card making can be sometimes scary. So I will be teaching the pop-up purse, the A7 pop-up pumpkin, which I'm featuring here, the Shadow Box book, the barn, and our lighthouse. I don't know if I'm going to be teaching all 5 classes yet or not. I just know that they've been approved for photography. I will say when the workshops go live, I will make an announcement on my Facebook and Instagram. One of my classes last year sold out pretty quickly. So, yes, if you're interested in trying out one of my classes, I would sign up fairly quickly. So you can see here I'm decorating this chick. I love the little cracked egg at the top and on the bottom. And then I added his wings. Again, the wings have foldable glue tabs so that they can be glued on the edges and fold outwards. Now I am adding some grass. I don't know what to call this. It's like crinkle grass. Adding that to the top to fill in the gift box. And then at the top, I'm going to add a Kinder egg. And I just thought that was adorable since the chick is holding eggs. And I'm trying to adjust the grass so that you can see some of it poking out. Pretty sure you can buy this stuff at the dollar store. I just bought mine on Amazon. So I'm probably spending too much time with this crinkle grass, but I end up liking how this looks. So that finishes off my third design. One of my favorites. All right, so now I'm gonna work on the second chick with the alternative face. So I'm adding the white base of the eye, and then I will add the color in the eye, and then the pupil. And again, you can draw in the pupil like I did for the first card I made, or you can add the tiny black dot that's included in the die set. I think this time I do add the pupil in the die. There's also adorable eyelashes. Tons of detail in these add-ons. And we brought this die out during Halloween, so there's adorable Halloween and Christmas add-ons for this pumpkin. There's Santa, an elf, a reindeer, a black cat, a vampire, and there will definitely be more add-ons coming out. I'm gonna add the cute pink cheeks. This one even has some eyebrows. And this chick, I'm going to give him some bunny ears. And a little flower. And then I'll add his wings. Again, you can fold in the glue tab and just add glue to the glue tab and glue it to the outer walls. And that adds some cute dimension to the wings. And this chick, I'm going to have hold a stemmed flower. So there are two different types of wing options, one that I glued to the right side, and then this one on the left looks like it's holding something. So you can give it a flower to hold or an egg. So I'll go ahead and add the flower to his little hand. And then I will add the layering piece for the wing right on top of the flower. I cut that from a slightly darker yellow. Then I felt like something was missing at the bottom, so I took the bow tie from the bunny add-on and added that to the bottom. I did trim off the sides so that it was flush with that center piece. And then again, this folds flat for mailing. I did add a little yellow gem to the center of its flower. And then here's that first chick I made with the Kinder egg. Again, I think out of all the add-ons, this chick might be my favorite. I do also like the leprechaun. So the last Easter add-on is the bunny. So I know this is a long video, but I wanted to pack in as many cards as possible using the whole bundle. So the bunny add-on has a lot of great accessories. You can see that flower cluster that we used on the first card. This time I'm adding it to the bunny's hat, which I cut from purple cardstock. I have all of my pieces fully assembled. I'm just going to add the details on the eyeballs here. And there are some different ear options as well. I'm going to use both of the ears. I'll have one that's folding down and one that's upright. And again, I am referencing the photo included in the packaging, which you can see here. I went with the exact same color scheme. I'm going to add his little whiskers onto his pink cheeks. This would also be a cute cat. Obviously, the ears kind of make it look more like a bunny, but you can do little triangles and turn him into a cat instead. So I'm going to tuck his ears behind the hat. Again, there's little glue tabs where you can hide the glue behind the hat, and then this one folds flat. So that one was pretty simple and quick. All of these I think are fun to mass produce, especially if you get in the rhythm of creating your bases first and then the next day adding all of the accessories. So this is the footage from my live. So you're going to see me using my hands a little bit more as I explain what I'm doing on the live. But this time I'm going to be using the leprechaun and the lucky pot. So again, referencing the image from the die set, I already created my base off camera, and I did cut the base from heavyweight cream cardstock, and then on top I layered a darker cream panel using that layering panel die set that I used at the beginning of this video, just so that my leprechaun has a darker skin tone. And then I will paper piece his adorable little hat. There's even details on the rim that you can cut from a darker green so that there's more dimension on the hat. There's even some lucky clovers that you can add, which I'm adding one of them right beside the buckle. But those clovers are great to accessorize the entire base. You can actually add clovers all the way around. I think that would be really cute. Here I'm adding those darker detail pieces for the hat. And I know you can't see it now, but almost every piece that I am adding has been double layered. So now I'll work on his little face, and you can see I pulled in the packaging on the right side so that I can reference what the face looks like. If you didn't see my product showcase video, I do show the new packaging. We did switch over our manufacturer, so all of our dies are detabbed, and they include a picture as inspiration for each set. We will not be doing that to some of our older dies. Some of them we will, like I did move over our more popular die sets, so those will have pictures, but generally speaking, the new packaging is kind of from this collection onward. So I'm adding his little nose, which I cut from a darker skin tone color. I also cut his ears from a darker color so that you can notice them a bit more. And I think his little smile is the best part of this die. I think he is definitely one of my favorites just in general for the pumpkin. I love this particular character. Of course, have to add his pink cheeks. And then I purposely made his hair / beard slightly wider than the base so that you can tuck his ears inside. So you can see that I can slip in that glue tab through the beard and glue that to the edge wall on the left and right side, and that finishes off the leprechaun. Please let me know in the comments below what your favorite add-on is. I forgot to mention, while I was doing this live, we gave away the leprechaun and the lucky pot add-on to, I guess, 3 lucky winners. I was going to do 2, but my mom decided to add a 3rd winner. So I will say, if you join our lives, I will promise that in every giveaway or every live, I will be giving away at least 1 product that's featured. So it's just a fun way to interact with the audience. You can see I added another lucky clover to the top of his hat, and that finishes off that card. And now I'm going to create a lucky pot. And again, I made the base off camera. This one I made like the Kinder Egg design where I closed it. So this will be another gift box that I will put Hershey Kisses inside. Here is the add-on that I'm using. And again, I'm going to copy it exactly as it's shown on the image. This is our first add-on that's not a character. So I wasn't sure how this would play out, but I think it turned out really cute. So I cut the cauldron from black. You can see I created the same base I did for the black sheep, where I cut the base from a heavyweight black and then I layered the gray panels on top with the layering panel add-on die set. Again, that way there's a little bit of contrast with the black pot. Now the black pot ends up completely covering the gray panels, so I don't think I really had to do that, but at the time when I was die cutting, I thought I would have to. I still think it looks really nice all the way around, and I can actually write a message on the back, which is kind of nice. And if it was completely black, I would have had to use a white gel pen, which most of the time my white gel pens don't even work. So yeah, now I'm paper piecing the rainbow, and I'm going to add the rainbow inside the pop-up, just like I did with the white sheep. And now I have to add the bridge inside because I want my rainbow to be floating inside. And I knew I had to have an area to add my Hershey Kisses inside, so I opted to use the bridge straight across since this card cannot fold flat anyway. And I moved the bridge further to the front so that behind the rainbow I can add my Hershey Kisses. Now I have my Happy St. Patrick's Day sentiment. This is included in the Lucky Pot die set. And you also get the shadow die. So here I'm trying to see, do I like it more with the shadow or with just the words? And because I chose a dark green mirror cardstock for the words, I felt that having the shadow helped the sentiment pop a little bit more. So I opted to use the shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my words to them. I did triple layer the words and double layer the shadows. So you can see that those are nice and thick. I always, when it comes to extra layers, I tend to do it for almost every piece I add, but especially for my sentiments, because you can definitely see the difference and it automatically helps your eye look directly at the sentiment. So I'm going to glue the Happy St. Patrick's Day right to the center of my pot. And again, with this add-on, I used every single die included. There are also some lucky clovers and some cute little swirls with some stars that you can add to the top of the pot. Right now I'm grabbing the handles and I'm going to glue those to the sides. Again, there are glue tabs built in so that you can hide your glue right behind. And then all that's left are the tiny details. So I'm going to add a gold coin to the bottom left, a couple clovers, and some of those tiny stars that I cut from gold mirror cardstock. And I know earlier in this video I said I was posting this on a Thursday. That was when I thought I could post this before Stamp Fest. So I ended up going to Stamp Fest this weekend. It went really well. And I wanted to remind you that we're going live tomorrow, Tuesday the 13th. And I'm going to be creating Valentine cards. So that will be at 7 p.m. Eastern if you want to join. We will be giving away the products that I use in that live. So that finishes off my lucky pot. Here I'm adding my Hershey Kisses. And there is my leprechaun. And that finishes off my very long video. Thank you guys for sticking around this long. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section and I will respond to you. I will also have everything I used linked down below. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.